Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Before I start, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Today, I will provide part two of my divestment series from the Democrat Party. On the first video on the the divestment movement, I went through a fraction of the history of the evils that the Democrats have perpetuated on the Black community and Black people in general, which was particularly harmful to Black men. Today, I will focus my angst on the devastating impacts of the Democrats on Black people with the focus on the city of Chicago. After many years following an inept Black political Democrat leadership, we are witnessing Black people as a community with a modicum of political power falling into obscurity and irrelevancy in real time. I have a series of video clips starting with the reminder from Brother Malcolm X that the liberal Democrat is the biggest threat to Black people. In the second clip, courtesy of the Black Financial Channel, and third clip, courtesy of Ray Locked and Loaded, it covers Walmart closing 4 stores in Chicago and why the Black community gets what it deserves for not protecting or appreciating Walmart for supporting the Black people, even at a loss of profits over the years. In the fourth clip, we will see Anton Daniels take on the Memorial Day weekend massacre in Chicago, where 50 people aged from 2 to 70 plus are gunned down in the streets when we should have been honoring our fallen heroes. Everybody did die, but a good number of people did. Moreover, approximately 10 people are murdered every week in the Chi, and most of them Black and other people of color. In the fifth clip, we will see a real-life Lord of the Flies scenario play out where a band of most likely and overwhelmingly single mother-raised children invade and rain terror on downtown Chicago. The city is literally coming off the rails under Democrat leadership from top to bottom. In the sixth, in the sixth clip, courtesy of Fox, we'll see a press conference led by Latino politicians talking about immigration situation. They seem to be in favor and supporting this migration. And then we see a Black protester screaming, in other words, how unfair this is to Blacks. The purpose of this clip is to show the changing demographics of what might typically have been a Black politician talking on a mic. To be clear, I love my Latino and Latina brethren and sisters, but politically, we are only allies when our interests align. This clip goes to the near-term irrelevancy of the Black voting power in the Chi. In the seventh clip and final clip from a content creator whose channel is called Black Conservative Perspective, highlights a Black woman calling for Black people to stop voting for Democrats. Her reasoning is this immigrant situation. My problem with her is why did she wait to draw this line when the Democrat leadership brought migrants into the neighborhood? Why wasn't this a continuous theme because of the crime, murder, and poverty enough for the community to turn its back on the failed Democratic leadership? Okay, aside from being neglected Black voters standing powerlessly by and watch the Democratic leaders pass a $51 million aid package to newcomers uh, so they can get on their feet, while the Black neighborhoods fall further into the depths of decay and depravity. These are the Black people that the Democrat leaders rely on to get in office, My bet these same immigrants will be leading the community in perhaps 5 years. The real finesse is that the Democrats are grooming a new and potentially more potent base of voters for the future because they see the death, destruction, and irrelevancy of the black voter is close at hand. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna stop sharing, and then I'm gonna go through clip by clip on what we need to talk about, so you can see. First up is going to be Brother Malcolm, and we'll go from there. So bear with me. So we're going to share, right?
Game of power politics here in America. The Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leaders who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress.
So let me stop right there. And so we're going to go to the next clip that we're going to help you look at. So we're going to get there real quick. All right. Let me stop sharing. Share the next clip. And in this next clip, we're going to see a lady crying about, she's in tears about the looting in the Walmart.
Look at this. Can't even get no fucking food for my kids, G. Look at this. Came in the store to try to buy something because I'm not a thief. Look at this. In my hood, can't even get no food for my kids. Babies need milk. Can't even get nothing for my kids, bro. I feel like an animal, and black people made me feel like an animal. Y'all did this to us. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the store. Look at this.
Fair use. This is courtesy of
This
the
is
Black
what we're fighting
Financial
for.
channel.
This is honoring George Floyd. People who already
Fair
couldn't feed
use.
their
Fair
kids, now they
use.
really can't feed their kids. Look at this. I am so devastated right now. I am so devastated right now, G. This is not okay. For us to have to live like this, we do stupid shit like this all the time. And we so black proud. We so black and proud that we ain't gonna never be honest and be real about what's really going on. Y'all are so wrong for this. You came in your neighborhood and fucked up your shit. Every grocery store looks like this.
So that's that one. So the next clip, we're going to talk about a lady who says why it's okay for Walmart to leave. All right. So and it's not like I don't agree with her. So we're going to get to that next clip right now. Right. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just share these clips. Okay. Right. So here we go.
I might get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like it needs to be said.
Fair use, courtesy of Locked and Loaded. She has some good stuff. Share her channel. Go look at her channel.
Losses nearly doubled in Chicago in the last 5 years. That losing millions of dollars a year is forcing them to close these stores.
I might get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like it needs to be said. Walmart is closing 4 stores in areas where they are saying they're not profitable, right? And people are outraged. I mean, outraged. So the big Walmart over on 83rd and Stewart is closing, and today they've been having a bunch of protests, angry people out. People are just angry and sad protesting Walmart. We got politicians out there making speeches saying, how could Walmart do this to the community? And now they're calling Walmart racist for taking a resource out of the Black community, and how dare them. They need to explain how it is that Walmart is not profitable when this store is always full, it's always packed, people are always shopping. Do y'all want Walmart to just like come out and say it? Y'all ninjas steal.
Okay? What I'm saying is that Black people need to stop lying.
Say something.
Black people need to stop lying. We really need to stop lying. Like, I sincerely hate the blind, misplaced anger. It's like that Walmart on 83rd was destroyed. Like, complete. I'm sorry, it's hot as hell in my house. So excuse me, I'm a little moist. That Walmart was completely destroyed during the riots, during COVID. I mean, completely destroyed. They even set something on fire in that store, set off the sprinklers and flooded the entire store. And Walmart said, the hell with y'all. We're not reopening this store, period, because it's not worth it. So what happened? The community came together, protested, petitioned for Walmart to reopen that store. I don't even think it's been a full 2 years since that Walmart has reopened. So Walmart said, okay, we'll give it another shot. We'll reopen the store because we know that the community needs it. I was talking to one of the managers in there, and he was just telling me how bad the theft is at that store. Not only the theft is terrible, they have a lot of violent incidents. I think maybe it was just 2 weeks ago someone got killed up there. I hate going to that store. I go to that store out of necessity. I honestly go to that store out of necessity when I'm tired and I just don't feel like driving anywhere else. And every time I go in that store, I put my head down. I don't look nobody in the eye. I just want to get in and out. And it's always some kind of incident going on up in there.
Let me just stop it there. So, you get her point, right? So, why do we deserve a Walmart if we're not going to appreciate what's being done in the neighborhood? So here's the next clip that is going to be Anton Daniels, and he's going to go into some other stuff. So let me just share that real quick. Okay. So Anton, which one is this? Okay. And he's going to talk his thing. So there we go.
Got a full show for y'all. Before we get into extortion, because extortion comes in multiple different ways.
This is about the
You
50
extorted yourself
people
out of the
that
opportunity
weekend of
to be able
massacre in
to
Chicago.
operate with no student loans and no interest on these student loans. Neither here nor there. Shout out to Chicago. Chicago, y'all tired of me yet? Hey, Chicago, Chi-Town. Chi-Town.
These are the highest quality leather sneakers sold at the lowest
I
sustainable
hate these
markup
commercials.
possible.
Y'all tired of me yet? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's your turn, Chicago. You know what I heard that happened over Memorial Day weekend? I heard that Chicago had at least 50 people shot of all ages, babies to elders. From babies to elders, I heard they had the drill music popping, the Uzis out, and they was just shooting everything. I heard they was spraying everything. They said we taking the babies out, we taking black people out, we taking our communities out. We gonna continue to lower the value. Y'all keep asking me to do. I think Chicago is probably one of the only major cities that I have not done a Patreon meetup in. I've done Patreon meetups in almost every single major city except for Chicago. Chicago, let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah, Diane and Val, the shooting victims range in age from 2 years old to 77 years old.
Let's stop there. Before we even get into the rest
Fair
of it,
use, fair use.
the shooting victims range from 2 years old to 77. Y'all don't discriminate. You know, I was watching my favorite series again for like the 7th time. And it's called The Wire. And in The Wire, the one thing that they always advocated for is no violence on a Sunday. And when they tried to hit up my man's on a Sunday, and then they shot the lady's hat and she fell off her head. Avon Barksdale and Stringer Bell, they was pissed. They said, y'all doing violence on a Sunday? They had standards in the streets of Baltimore. 2 years old to 77. How do you shoot a 2-year-old? How do you shoot a 70? They already on the tail end of their life. Don't tell me I got to do life in jail for a 77-year-old that was probably never going to make it to be 80 in the first place. Y'all don't discriminate. And y'all only shoot other black people. Ain't that insane? Chicago has become the poster child for defund the police, embrace liberal views, vote people in office based off of the color in their skin and their sexuality and their gender, and then make sure that you continue to run in the Victim Olympics and run all of the good businesses out by burning them up and shooting everything up. 2 to 7. Let me rewind this.
Yeah, Diane and Val, the shooting victims range in age from 2 years old to 77 years old, representing every part of the city. This despite a collaborative public safety effort the new mayor hopes to implement all summer. Over the holiday weekend, by our count, at least 50 people were shot, 10 killed. A man was critically wounded in the back of the Yards neighborhood. In this South Chicago home, another man.
Not the South Side again. 50 people shot, 10 killed. Well, they doing something right. At least they can't aim. They just wounding you now, hoping to kill you. Eyes closed. They got switches on their Glocks now. Hey, for all of my people that's watching this right now, how many of these good black and white folks are still living in Chicago? Why y'all still there? Why y'all still there? Why y'all still in there suffering, trying to fix your communities? You know, I used to have this show that I was on. I'll neglect to name it. I used to have this show that I was on way back when I was turning it up on the internet on panels. And it was this young guy on there. Well, actually a little bit older, definitely older than me. But I call him a young man because he was young in spirit. And he had this good spirit of trying to support black people and fix the community, especially on the south side of Chicago where I grew up. And guess what his name was? Chicago Rilla. His name was Chicago Rilla. And he was so enthusiastic about being for the community. Let me tell you one thing. As much as I love his enthusiastic, can-do spirit for the community, it was misplaced. Chicago Rilla was a fool. A whole fool, not a half a fool. And I don't say that to insult him. I say that out of his own ignorance and that him misunderstanding what it was that he was facing. You can't negotiate with terrorists. You cannot negotiate with. Have y'all ever seen what it's like on these Afghanistan documentaries and Pakistan and stuff like that? Do y'all know what it's like to try to negotiate with a terrorist? They don't care. They don't look at life and value it the same way that you do. Usually, when you go into a negotiation or even a debate with somebody, y'all establish a basic foundation of what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, and what this thing is, the basic foundation, and then we can leapfrog into a conversation.
Let me stop it right there because he goes on to talk about the new mayor, which he thinks is going to be even worse than Lori Lightfoot. And I agree with him. I see this guy. I don't know how he got in office. So we're going to go to the next video. Is when the teens invade Chicago, right? They invade Chicago, and and it's devastating to watch. How these kids behave. Now, this was all over the news about the teens that invaded Chicago and what they did. So here we go.
Out in downtown Chicago on Saturday night as hundreds of young people crowded the streets. And the video coming from this shocking, showing massive groups jumping on cars, causing tourists to flee the sound of gunfire. 2 teens were hospitalized after they were shot in all of this. News Nation affiliate WGN's Courtney Spinelli has the latest on the city's response.
Right now, things are much quieter than last night when hundreds of young people flooded this area, prompting a massive police response. During it, 2 teens were shot and rushed to the hospital, both said to be in fair condition. This right here is what it looked like on the streets of Chicago Saturday night.
We had people jumping on cars. This is insane.
Large numbers of young people crowding the area of the loop from Michigan Avenue to Clark Street and could be seen jumping on parked cars and smashing windows. 2 times, groups of teens were also seen punching, kicking, and stomping on someone on the ground.
The crime in Chicago is simply out of hand. It's nuts.
Community activists outraged and calling on city leaders to help address the crime.
We need to give the Chicago Police Department the funding and the resources that they need to take care of this crime in our communities.
As chaos unfolded Saturday night, it was enough to disrupt traffic and CTA service. Officers flooded the scene, attempting to control the crowds.
There needs to be more respect for our police officers. There needs to be more law and order. The punks outside in the street, they don't care. They can do anything they want.
In the midst of it all, shots were fired just after 9, leaving 2 teens injured. A 17-year-old boy was hit in the leg, and a 16-year-old boy was shot in the arm.
There were crowds in the streets. There were people yelling. There were
This is devastating. I mean, how could anybody justify this? I mean, where are the parents of these kids or parent? Because we know it's not a two-family
that caused her to move
household.
quickly back to her hotel. She's been to the city many times before, but feels uneasy after Saturday's event.
I am kind of nervous about coming to Chicago in warmer weather again. When it's
That's enough of that. So we get the message here. So this next one, we're going to look at a couple of politicians talking about, immigration. Now, now we're on immigration. Okay, so we're going to stop sharing. We can stop sharing that, and we're going to talk about immigration next. Right. Right. All right. So we're going to talk about immigration. All right. Okay. So here we go.
City Council meeting started a discussion on housing. Migrants in Chicago turned into a tense confrontation. Fox 32's Joni Lum has more on that.
One of the top issues here at City Hall, finding places for the thousands of migrants who have landed here in Chicago. Several alderpersons and activists have proposals for what they call a crisis. 25th Ward Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez says the last administration failed to collaborate with residents when dealing with migrants bused to Chicago. The group introduced plans to use city spaces for asylum seekers and for Chicagoans who are unhoused.
Daly College has 4 buildings that are currently not in use. They're not in use, and it will not affect the programming that currently exists in the main building at Daly College.
Everything
Not
impacts
only
everything else, so
do we
it's not
house
true that
asylum
this won't
seekers that are
impact.
currently sleeping in police stations, feeling the cold through the concrete floor, but that we also ensure that we house our unhoused siblings
Now, there's
that
nothing
are
wrong
in
with
tent camps
compassion. But what
across the
about the
city.
people that's
The
already
group
there?
stressed community involvement would lead the decision making.
They use us to fill prisons and graveyards.
But their
So
announcement
it's a
was
black guy
interrupted by
protesting the
members of a
fact
group called
the same old
Cause for Community
victimization
and Social
of
Change,
black
who
folks.
say homeless Chicagoans, especially black residents, are being ignored. The confrontation raised the volume on conflict in the community.
And you doesn't address the mental health issue as a result of all of that, you will never end violence.
One of the demonstrators said this is not a race issue, it's a housing issue that they hope City Council will make a priority.
If it's not a race issue, okay, it's definitely a power issue. And the truth of the matter is, I know blacks and Latinos get together from time to time, but that's only politically when our interests align. And when they don't align, we're just as much as an adversary as anybody else. And that was the purpose of this thing. Just really show you that whatever blacks thought they had in terms of political power in Chicago, it's almost gone. And just because they put a black, zesty guy up there as mayor doesn't mean anything. It's the aldermen, it's all those other people that are being, that are Latino and that growing population, where the blacks are just quickly slipping into irrelevancy in their own city because they didn't take advantage of the opportunities they had when they had a chance and when they had power. So more power to them. Maybe the Latinos will be a little bit more benevolent to them, but you get what you deserve. You don't do what you're supposed to do. I got one more video that I'm gonna show, and then and we'll go from there. This will bring it home about a black lady talking about we should stop voting for Democrats. But the first part of this is going to show the luxury hotel that the immigrants were put up in. It's a luxury hotel, and let me make sure we're sharing the right thing. And all right. Fair use, fair use.
Okay, well, this is interesting. Well, why not? Because it's private. Well, no, this is a hotel. It's closed. It's closed? No, I just saw some people go inside. It's closed. Well, why can't I come in?
It's closed for you.
Why is it closed for me? Why is it closed for me, though? I don't understand.
This is a private area, so therefore it's private. You're not a resident here. It's a last.
Who are the residents? I thought this was a hotel. Now what? Now I don't understand the designation. Could you please explain it to me? What is the designation? Hi. Yeah. Hello. Welcome. Yeah. Could you just explain that to me? I don't understand.
This guy's being disingenuous. He knows full well what's going on.
Huh.
So he should be more honest, but he still wouldn't get in.
Where are you from?
But this would, any taxpayer would be really upset about this, and I don't blame him.
Well,
but he's not going about it the right way.
Meanwhile,
it is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us. Yeah. That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city of Chicago.
Look at this. Listen to this guy. Oblivious to his own people. Let me stop it right there. And let's just go to, I'm going to just fast forward a little bit to the next part of this, because, here's a black lady talking about, divesting.
Again, demanding and telling people, hey, we need to stop voting for people just because they're black.
and just because the Democrat. In fact, we need to try to vote Joe Biden
This
out of
guy's
office.
channel
Take a
is
look.
pretty good too.
Young lady on the end here who said that this is a humanitarian crisis. My brother was murdered in January. Chicago already has a humanitarian crisis.
That's right. Yes.
We
Yes.
don't have enough resources to support our people here.
That's right.
My mother has to look out the window to see where my brother was shot at because CHA does not want to move her. Okay? So my whole thing is, if we don't have resources to support us here already, why the hell would you all bring people here for one who don't like black people? That's not
Yes. 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 Yes.
You all are sitting up here, so this is just to let you all know. This meeting here is a formality. They have to do this. They're going to do what they want to do anyway.
Well, we gotta do what we gotta do. We got to go to jail. Don't let the bitches in.
Audience here, we have to bear responsibility for what's going on now. Because for too long, the black community has been voting for the wrong people for too damn long.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yes. That's right. Get the
Too late,
ass
old,
out.
too late.
Yeah.
This guy with the phone yelling and screaming.
That's right.
But it's his phone. He's taking up support.
Get ass, stick your ass out. Yeah. Yeah.
So now what we need to do collectively, when next time the automatic races come up, we need to vote their asses out. When violence time comes up, we need to vote
His ass out. Yes.
Yeah, well, let me stop it right there and stop sharing. And she has a point. We definitely should vote these politicians out. There's no doubt. Biden should go. And so I don't have any problem with that. And we've been sticking by these guys much too long. And it's time to get out of here. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and finish this off by saying to everybody that, it's time for us to stand up and do what we have to do. So once again, folks, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Give me some comments as well. I believe that we need to divest from the Democratic Party. There's a lot of blacks who've been, especially black men. I'm focusing on black men. I really can't speak for black women because they have a life of their own. But for us, if we want to if we want to rebuild a new community, we have to get away from the Democrats, the decadence, the woke liberalism, all of that kind of stuff that has no value system whatsoever. That we need to start moving out of that and back into some conservative, constructive things that could benefit us as a whole, as a people. So once again, this is part 2 of my Democratic Party divestment series. It may already be too late to save the dead and the dying inner cities, but we don't have to let this plight determine our future. In part 3, and I'll get to it, right? Maybe not right away. I'll delve into the degeneracy and the degradation of family values and the attack on heterosexuality and the indoctrination push of these binary crap and all this other kind of stuff on our children. So is the Bud, so my question to a lot of people is the Bud Light ban and the Target ban a portent of things to come? Is it part of the backlash that we need to see that's coming down the pike to try to save whatever's left of our beautiful United States and the melting pot? Because the only thing all the groups are owed is a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All of us. That's all we're owed. We're not owed anything else. And where your rights start to take away from rights of other people, that's where we have to draw the line. So I don't have any problem with anybody choosing who to sleep with and all that other kind of stuff. But don't try to call me a cis anything. I'm not a cis anything. I'm a heterosexual man. Don't try to dictate, because you want to sleep with somebody, we need to learn new pronouns and all that other shit. I remember when blacks tried to push this old ebonics bullshit on people. That wasn't right then. and all this pro-down bullshit that's changing now, we shouldn't have to accept that right now either. You know, there's a lady out there who got a 0 on a paper because she used the term biological woman. Now, if she was telling the truth, this was a college paper. That was an absolute travesty. Absolute travesty. Okay, so for all you married, so just a segue, I'm gonna finish this on this. For all you marriage-minded men looking for wives, please watch my video that I put out on the 10 steps to courting and vetting a woman for marriage. And even if you pick up only one nugget that can help you make a good choice, you'd be better off for it. So this is Rich Payne, over and out. And we'll talk to you next time.